Wow, we have a stunner. Robert Helenius knocks out Adam Kownacki in front of his own crowd at the Barclays Center. Woo, heavyweight division is back. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Sign up for ESPN Plus. Hopefully, you guys use the UFC 248 link. If you haven't, click on that link if you're going to get the UFC 248. Let's get into it. We have an absolute upset, an absolute stunner. Adam Kownacki has been knocked out by Robert Helenius at the Barclays Center. Listen, fun fight. The heavyweight division is lit. Props to Robert Helenius. He is a big dude, about 6'7", big Viking looking you know what I'm saying? And this just proves in this fight game, especially out of all divisions, the heavyweight division is not for play. One punch can absolutely change everything. Now, this fight was competitive. It wasn't easy work for Robert Helenius. And Adam Kownacki, to me, he got dropped. They ruled it a slip, but it was really he got dropped. He got greedy, he got overzealous, and he came in the front door, and he was met by the bigger, taller fighter with an accurate shot. I think it was a right hand that sat him down. I don't know why the referee, from his vantage point or whatever, said it was a slip. It was definitely a punch that landed, which created a knockdown. But ultimately, you know, the good thing about it, the slip not being knocked down, you know, similar to KSI versus Jake Paul, or unlike KSI, Jake Paul, this didn't end in controversy because Robert Helenius followed up with it. So props to Team Helenius on the victory, and props to him for noticing what he did, noticing it wasn't a slip, and he stayed on Kownacki's ass right after that. And it was a defining moment in round 4. So again, up until this, round 2 was crazy. A lot of punches thrown. Helenius did get hurt in there. I don't know how much Kownacki got hurt at that point, but round 4, he definitely got dropped. He got sat down, and when he stood up, he got up way quick, which I keep telling you on my channel. I watched boxing my whole life. These tough, durable, blood and guts warriors got to stop, you know, getting up quick, whether it's a slip or a knockdown. Stop getting up so quick. It's the fighter instinct. You're embarrassed, you got knocked, but you know, take your time. Why rush up? We've seen you hit the canvas for whatever reason, whether it's a punch, a knockdown, a slip, or whatever, but don't be so hasty to get up. Kownacki did everything wrong from that point to me, because after he got hurt, he was clearly hurt. And I think the commentators, Lennox Lewis and whatnot, Goosen, they picked up on it. They spotted it, because when I watched it, you know, I don't know how easy it is from ringside versus me on TV, but I could tell he was hurt, because he stood up and his legs like buckled. You know, he did like a little bit of a chicken dance, right? And his legs buckled. And then Helenius must have seen this body language, and then he landed some more shots. And then it was a flurry of shots that Kownacki was not prepared for. It was an onslaught. And this is what's wrong with the blood and guts warrior brawler, you know, people who rely on their chin to get him out. Kownacki didn't do the right things. He didn't tie up. He didn't try to clinch. He was trying to punch back. And as the big ass Helenius was walking him down, he was landing some great shots. He has the reach advantage, and Kownacki was making all the mistakes. Again, didn't clinch, backing straight out. He was punching, but there was he had no legs. You have to look at boxing. When you get, your legs generate power, period. A good foundation generates power. So if you don't really have your legs underneath you, you not tying up like Floyd did with Shane Mosley is pretty foolish, because you're just relying on instinct to be able to catch the person, and you're at a disadvantage. Kownacki doesn't look like he's in, you know, crazy shape. He looks a little bit, you know, portly, and you're the shorter man. So backing straight out, you're giving the guy with you're fighting where his punches can get into you. You know, his punches, you'll be at the tip of his punches, being the longer man. And Kownacki's not known as like a fast, athletic guy. He wasn't tying up. He's backing straight out. You're at the tip of his punches. So what people don't realize is the taller man in a situation like this, even if you wanted to not clinch and fight back, the smarter thing, in my opinion, for Kownacki would be to go into the power, like you're gonna hug him, like smother him, because then that would be harder. He'd have to shoot uppercuts and things. Helenius had basic punches, but it was good, you know, and it was obviously good enough to get the job done here. But he had a good 1-2, stuff like that. But if you go into the power, it's a risk, but once you get past a certain danger zone, you're actually in the safer haven, because the taller man will now have to push you off of him and create some space, or be a hell of an inside fighter, and you have shorter arms. But, you know, actually look at Joshua versus Ruiz, another example. Joshua made the mistake of being the bigger fighter, hurting his guy, and he took Ruiz lightly, thought he was food, so he just did whatever. And Ruiz, having heart and combination punches and shorter arms, he was able to, and faster hands and hand speed, he was able to actually catch Joshua crazy on the inside. So that's what Kownacki could have done a couple things different. He should have had more of a Ruiz game plan. You're already hurt. If you want to go out, then you want to go out swinging, that's foolish anyway, in my opinion, because you need to get your bearings back. But even if you're going to do it, you better do it like Ruiz, because he was staying at the tip and the edge of the taller man's punches, and he's coming forward, walking you down, and you at the right medium to outer distance to get hit with all that. So you're better off going into the power. That's what I call it. Going into the power and being in the danger zone of being up close and personal with the shorter arms and trying to get something off. But being, you know, at that proximity, he was just food, and he wasn't clinching. And then he got actually knocked down, and it was a bad sign, because as he tried to get himself up, one of his arms looked very limp, you know, it looked very dead, and he didn't have the support system. Very good win for Robert Helenius. And, you know, I'm loving boxing, and I'm loving the heavyweight division. One punch can change everything. Gerald Washington knocked out Helenius in a good fight. And then Gerald Washington on the Wilder Fury 2 undercard was knocked out by Charles Martin. Charles Martin was beaten and almost knocked out by Adam Kownacki, you know. And now Robert Helenius knocks out the favorite, a huge favorite. Kownacki had developed a great following and fan base with Polish fighters in New York. And then he just gets upset. So it's like you never really know what's going to happen. You never was going to know what's going to happen. Efe Ajagba, he was on the undercard. He looked solid. He took his time, and he stopped Razkojanu alongside. Now he joins Luis Ortiz, and he joins Daniel Dubois, who has a big fight with Joe Joyce coming up. And he becomes another person to stop Razkojanu. Razkojanu was just getting battered in there. And I think Efe Ajagba learned a lot from his last fight, because he in turn got hurt. It's just cracking, bro. The heavyweight division is cracking. And this big Nordic Viking looking motherfucker, Robert Helenius, he came with it. You know, he had a basic flurry of punches. See, people, you got to respect boxing, you know, especially in the heavyweight division. This is a 6'7" dude who got heart, who took your best punches in round 2. His nose was bloody, because even after the fight ended, Robert Helenius, he looked a little bit, you know, relieved. He looked like he was leaking. He was taking some deep breaths and stuff, but he had done his part, and he was happy with it. But Kownacki got greedy, and this is what I told you about people always complaining about Floyd Mayweather and guys who utilize an overall skill set on both ends, offense and defense. But this is why I also believe, and I'm not taking any credit from Robert Helenius, but there was like 1,000 punches thrown in the Chris Arreola fight. So no matter if you don't go down from those shots or not, you're still having a 250, whatever Chris Arreola weighed, 255-pound man punch you, whether your chin, you feel you could take it or not. That is not good. The human skull is not meant to be hit and bludgeoned and stuff like that. So being in such a war with Kownacki and then being in this predicament probably wasn't good for Adam Kownacki. And that's the thing in boxing. You never take more than what's given. You have to set it up. You've seen Pacquiao Marquez. You've seen fights like that with Joshua Ruiz. And now here, Adam Kownacki is used to relying on his chin, and he's a fun fighter to watch. I'll still watch his fights. I'm just giving you my breakdown. But he got greedy here. He just went in for the kill, tried to come in the front door basic, no head movement, and he got clipped up. and it's the heavyweight division. So one punch altered the outcome, and he didn't have his legs. And then on top of that, he didn't do the necessary things to stay out of danger. He didn't clinch. He didn't go into the power and smother. He was trying to fight off of instinct. And then it was a rightful stoppage. I don't want to hear anything about the stoppage was unfair, because he was getting pulverized. And the referee stopped it, and he threw like a sorry punch. It looked like there was nothing on it. So he was gassed, and, you know, it just wasn't his night. Huge upset. Props to Robert Helenius. You can't count anybody out, especially in that heavyweight division. If you get rocked by one of these dudes, it is what it is. And you got to know what to do when you get rocked by. Anytime you have a 225 plus pound man, you could get rocked. That's just what it is. And that's what we've seen. And then a guy like Robert Helenius, people judge you by your worst nights and performance. Yeah, he lost to Dillian White, but people don't know the pedigree. He lost to Gerald Washington. That don't mean you're going to do it. Gerald Washington is 6'6". So his athleticism and reach was not as he's not at such a deficit like Adam Kownacki, who has T-Rex arms compared to Helenius and Gerald Washington. So styles make fights. Robert Helenius has been in there with some good names. He's been in there with Dillian White, Gerald Washington. Win, lose, or draw. He beat guys like Derek Chisora. He beat a former champion who beat Klitschko and Lamon Brewster. You got to know your boxing. So just guys having veteran experience and no pressure, they could be dangerous just off the strength of that. So very impressive from Robert Helenius to stay in there, stay in the danger zone and fight his fight. Huge upset. It sucks because I like Kownacki, and I was looking forward to him. He was talking about fighting Wilder. I don't know who wants to see that now. Bro, he had to work on his defense. I've always said that. You got to work on your defense, because Wilder has athleticism, reach, and you could say whatever you want from the Tyson Fury fight, but I told you that wouldn't have been a great fight for Kownacki. Wilder got more power than Helenius, and he's the same height, but he's more athletic. So you can't judge what a 6'9" Tyson Fury with glove gate, can do versus a guy with shorter arms. It's gonna take you more work to get on the inside versus a Tyson Fury or somebody who's equal in size or bigger, equal in reach or bigger than Wilder. So that would have been a bad fight, like I've always suspected. I think the Areola war wasn't good as a fight, a precursor to this Robert Helenius, because it's just only so many back-to-back wars you could go through and come out victorious. That's why I stress that fighters got to be well-rounded, work on their overall game, their craft, and that kind of thing. Good fight though, fun, entertaining. I was looking forward to Kownacki versus Andy Ruiz, but off of a knockout loss, I don't know if they would do that fight. But now we get maybe Andy Ruiz versus Robert Helenius, or Robert Helenius, Charles Martin. He just knocked out Gerald Washington, and Gerald Washington knocked out Helenius. So I don't know how it's going to go. But shout out to Helenius. Big upset, heavyweight division. That's it. That's all I got to say. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.